These are 25 incredible single-player games every gamer should experience, from legendary classics to modern masterpieces. Horizon Forbidden West is one of the most visually impressive games you can play right now. But it's not just pretty. Aloy's journey is packed with huge machine battles, excellent exploration, and a world that feels rich with mystery and danger. It builds on everything that worked in Zero Dawn and makes it bigger, more polished, and even more satisfying to explore.
Death Stranding 2, On the Beach, looks like another strange, ambitious, and visually stunning journey from Hideo Kojima. Just like the first game, it seems to blend emotional storytelling, bizarre world building, and that unique sense of loneliness and connection that made Death Stranding stand out in the first place. If it delivers on its potential, this could easily become one of the most memorable single-player experiences in recent years. Elden Ring feels like a world you're not supposed to survive in, and that's exactly why it's so rewarding. Every area feels mysterious, every boss feels like a nightmare, and every victory feels earned. It takes the brutal challenge of From Software's design and throws it into a massive open world that constantly rewards curiosity. It's punishing, but it's also unforgettable.
Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, is one of the most exciting modern RPGs because it looks stylish, fresh, and full of personality. Its world feels artistic and mysterious, while the combat seems to blend turn-based strategy with a more active and dynamic edge. It already has the kind of atmosphere that grabs your attention immediately, and it looks like one of those games that could end up being something really special. Tears of the Kingdom takes everything that made Breath of the Wild special and somehow gives players even more freedom. The world is massive, the creativity is almost endless, and the ways you can solve problems feel genuinely exciting. It's the kind of game that constantly surprises you because it trusts the player to experiment and just have fun with the world. Days Gone is one of those games that surprised a lot of people. What starts off as a rough survival journey slowly turns into a genuinely emotional and intense open-world adventure. Riding through a broken world on your bike, managing fuel, fighting off freaker hordes, and watching Deacon's story unfold makes this a game that deserves way more respect. Super Mario Odyssey is pure joy. It's creative, charming, and constantly surprising you with new ideas. Every kingdom feels different, the movement is incredibly smooth, and the game is just packed with fun from start to finish. It proves that single-player games do not need to be dark or serious to be unforgettable. Sometimes they just need to be brilliantly designed. Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the greatest achievements in gaming, full stop. The world feels real in a way very few games have ever matched. Arthur Morgan is one of the best protagonists ever written, and the story is emotional, slow-burning, and incredibly powerful. This isn't just a great open-world game. It's one of the best single-player experiences ever created. The Witcher 3 is still one of the greatest RPGs ever made. Geralt's journey across war-torn lands filled with monsters, politics, and personal tragedy is just on another level. The writing is fantastic, the side quests are better than most games' main stories, and the world is so rich that it's easy to lose hundreds of hours here. This is a true masterpiece. Shadow of the Colossus feels like art. It's quiet, mysterious, and emotionally haunting in a way that very few games can match. The entire experience is built around taking down massive colossi, and every fight feels huge, lonely, and strangely tragic. It's not a loud game, but it leaves a lasting impact that sticks with you long after the credits roll.
The Last of Us Part 2 is one of the most intense and emotionally heavy games ever made. It's brutal, uncomfortable, and incredibly bold in the way it tells its story. Beyond that, the gameplay is phenomenal. Every fight feels desperate, every area feels dangerous, and the level of detail is just ridiculous. Whether you love it or hate it, it leaves a massive impact.
Titanfall 2 has one of the best FPS campaigns ever made, and somehow people still don't talk about it enough. The gunplay is fast and smooth, the movement feels incredible, and the level design is ridiculously creative. On top of that, the bond between Jack and BT gives the story way more heart than most shooters ever manage. If you've never played Titanfall 2, you need to fix that. God of War is what happens when a legendary action series completely reinvents itself and somehow becomes even better. Kratos is no longer just pure rage. He's older, more grounded, and now trying to be a father in a brutal world filled with gods and monsters. The storytelling, combat, and world design are all top tier, and it's one of the strongest single-player experiences ever made.
BioShock Infinite is stylish, weird, emotional, and unforgettable. Columbia is one of the most visually striking settings in gaming, and the story keeps getting more interesting the deeper you go. Booker and Elizabeth carry the entire experience, and by the end, this game leaves you with a lot to think about. It's a wild ride that absolutely deserves a spot on this list.
Black Flag is still the coolest Assassin's Creed game ever made. Let's just be honest. Sailing the seas, blasting enemy ships, hunting treasure, and living out the pirate fantasy is what makes this game so iconic. Even if you're not a huge Assassin's Creed fan, Black Flag still stands on its own as one of the best open-world adventures ever. Detroit Become Human is all about choice, consequence, and character-driven storytelling. Every decision can change the direction of the story, which makes every moment feel tense and important. It's cinematic, emotional, and packed with branching outcomes that make it one of the most replayable single-player games on this list. If you love narrative games, this one is a no-brainer.
Disco Elysium is one of the most unique RPGs ever made. There's no other game quite like it. Instead of relying on combat, it pulls you in with dialogue, investigation, and one of the strangest, smartest worlds in gaming. It's funny, tragic, deeply weird, and incredibly well written. If you want a single-player game that feels completely different, Disco Elysium is essential. Dying Light mixes parkour, survival, and zombie chaos in a way that still feels unique even now. During the day, you can manage the streets and scavenge for supplies. At night, the game becomes absolutely terrifying. Running across rooftops while infected creatures hunt you down creates some of the most intense moments in any zombie game. It's fast, brutal, and insanely fun. Far Cry 3 is the game that really defined modern Far Cry. It drops you into a dangerous tropical paradise, then slowly turns that setting into a full-blown nightmare. The open world is fun, the action is explosive, and Voss remains one of the most iconic villains in gaming. This is still one of the best open-world shooters ever made.
Grand Theft Auto V is still one of the most entertaining open-world games ever made. Los Santos feels alive, chaotic, and packed with personality. The three main characters all bring something different, and the story constantly keeps things moving with massive heists, wild missions, and unforgettable moments. Even years later, this game is still ridiculously fun to play.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 goes all in on immersion. This is not a power fantasy where you instantly become unstoppable. It's a grounded, realistic RPG where every fight, every decision, and every step of your journey matters. The world feels authentic, the role-playing is deep, and if you love medieval games with real weight and depth, this is one you absolutely should not miss.
Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is pure fun from the second you start swinging through the city. The movement feels incredible, the combat is smooth and fast, and switching between Peter and Miles keeps things fresh. It also delivers some genuinely emotional story moments, while still feeling like a huge blockbuster from start to finish. If you want a polished, exciting single-player game, this is an easy pick.
A Plague Tale: Innocence is one of the most underrated story-driven games out there. It's dark, emotional, and constantly tense, following Amicia and her little brother Hugo through a world falling apart around them. It mixes stealth, survival, and heartbreaking storytelling in a way that feels intimate and memorable from start to finish.
Uncharted 4 is the perfect cinematic adventure game. Nathan Drake's final chapter is packed with explosive set pieces, great character moments, and some of the smoothest action and climbing in the genre. It feels like playing through a blockbuster movie, but one that still has real heart underneath all the spectacle. It's polished, exciting, and easy to recommend to almost anyone.
For the bonus pick, Cyberpunk 2077 absolutely deserves a spot here. After all the updates and improvements, it's become one of the best single-player experiences you can play right now. Night City feels alive, the story is gripping, the characters are unforgettable, and the mix of action, exploration, and RPG freedom makes it incredibly easy to get lost in. If you want a game with style, atmosphere, and a world that pulls you in completely, Cyberpunk 2077 is an easy recommendation. So, those are 25 of the best single-player games everyone should experience. From emotional masterpieces like Red Dead Redemption 2 and The Last of Us Part 2, to massive adventures like Elden Ring, The Witcher 3, and Tears of the Kingdom, there's no shortage of incredible single-player games to dive into right now. Let me know in the comments which game on this list is your favorite, and also tell me which amazing single-player game deserved a spot here. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe for more gaming content, and I'll see you in the next one.